Single mom discovers incredible support at wedding, CEO's heartwarming offer changes everything. Emma never imagined she'd be at a lavish wedding, dressed in a gown she found on clearance, feeling both exhilarated and utterly out of place. This was a world polished and glimmering, just like the sparkling chandeliers overhead. She glanced down at her scuffed shoes, a pang of self-consciousness tightening her chest. Yet, here she was, holding tightly to a glass of cheap champagne as the laughter and clinking of glasses surrounded her in the grand ballroom of the nearby country club. As she navigated through her former classmates, thoughts swirled in her mind. Behind every smile, Emma bore the weight of her struggles as a single mom. Her spirited 6-year-old, Lily, and her eager 10-year-old, Max, were her heartbeat. Every dollar she earned waiting tables at the diner or cleaning houses was a step toward giving them a stable future. Now, standing amid laughter, she craved a fleeting escape from the exhaustion that had become her uniform. Just then, her heart fluttered as she caught sight of Jake, tall and confident, hair neatly styled, the CEO of a booming tech firm. They had shared flickers of childhood friendship, now seemingly a lifetime ago. As he approached, the years melted away. "Emma? Is that really you?" He grinned, his eyes sparkled with genuine warmth. They exchanged stories, catching up on lost years, laughter spilling out like a long-lost song. But even in this joy, a hint of sadness lingered. Suddenly, Jake's friend, one of those entitled types, spoke loudly, the words slicing through the air. "She's just a single mom struggling to make ends meet." The laughter that followed echoed like a slap. Emma's face burned. The weight of that comment settled like a heavy blanket. Yet, before she could even think of a response, Jake turned, eyes fierce, defending her with an unwavering determination. "You don't know her story," he declared, and Emma's heart swelled. In that moment, she felt seen, validated. Amid the evening's festivities, emotions danced heavily. Each speech was a testimony of dreams and resilience, stirring a fire within her. She was no longer just a backdrop but a part of the narrative. Through her struggles, she could inspire. Jake watched her with admiration, his gaze steady and unwavering. By the end of the night, he offered her something unexpected: a partnership on a community project aligned with her dreams of lifting families like hers, providing support and opportunity. Before Emma could process the enormity of that offer, the room hushed, all eyes fixated upon her. Her heart raced as the echoes of her life's choices thundered in her ears. Fear gripped her. Could she really seize this opportunity without losing her sense of self? Thoughts of doubt crept in, heavy and viscous. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. As Emma stood before them, her moment stretched painfully, a bead of sweat trickling down her back. Would she let fear hold her back or take the leap of faith? Each second flowed like honey as the weight of the room pressed on her shoulders. Jake's eyes reminded her of the dreams she held tightly in her heart for her kids. Would she dare to embrace the unknown that could change everything for them? The silence was deafening, her decision hung in the air, a pivotal moment, tinged with a glimmer of hope and uncertainty, leaving everyone yearning for her next move. Emma felt as if time had paused completely, the moment stretching into infinity. The laughter around her faded to a dull hum. Jake's presence brought both comfort and pressure. His gaze was steady, urging her to find courage within herself. She thought about Lily and Max, their bright smiles, and the way they looked up to her, always hoping for a better future. Taking a deep breath, she read the expressions of those around her. Some were curious, others skeptical, while a few wore genuine encouragement. What would they think if she accepted? Would the weight of their judgment crush her? But then, she thought of the nights spent worrying about bills and the endless cycle of trying to make ends meet. Emma? Jake's voice broke through her thoughts. It's okay. You're not alone. Feeling the warmth of his unwavering support, Emma's heart raced. She started, her words catching in her throat. The truth of her life lingered in the air like smoke. I want to help families who struggle like I do. I want Lily and Max to see that it's okay to dream big. The silence deepened as she continued. But can I do it? Can I truly step outside of this life I know? Her heart beat like a drum in her chest, the sound blurring her senses. Every big change starts with a single step, Jake encouraged, his voice gentle yet firm. You can inspire so many people including me. Your story is powerful. In that moment, the doubts that had clouded her heart began to clear. It was as if a small door within her swung open. Maybe it was time to step through to leave the shadows of self-doubt and embrace who she could become, not just for herself, but for her children. I accept, Emma finally said, each word feeling like a small victory. Let us do this together. The room erupted in cheers, the laughter that had once felt mocking now cradled her in warmth. Tears pricked the corners of her eyes as an empowering wave washed over her. Jake stepped closer, his smile wide. Let us start with a plan. Together, we can turn this idea into reality. As the music swelled, Emma felt a shift. It was a celebration, not just of a wedding, but of stepping into a new life. The guests resumed their mingling, their excitement palpable, but Emma only had eyes for the future, her future, but beneath the exhilaration lay a sliver of anxiety. Was she ready for this? A partnership with someone like Jake felt monumental. Catching sight of herself in a reflective surface, she leaned in closer, studying her expression. Determination shone there, yet doubt lingered, just out of reach. As the night carried on, Emma laughed and shared stories, but in quieter moments, her thoughts danced between excitement and fear. Would she be able to balance her passions with her responsibilities as a mother? The journey ahead appeared daunting, yet thrilling, and as she stole glances at Jake amidst the bustling crowd, she couldn't help but wonder had she unleashed a path that could change everything for Lily and Max. With all this opportunity blossoming, would her heart remain true to what truly mattered? For now, she would take it one step at a time. Unbeknownst to her, the course of her life was about to change in ways she could never foresee. The beat of her heart quickened at the thought. What awaited her just over the horizon? And then, just as she thought the night was drawing to a close, the unexpected happened. Jake approached with a new spark in his eyes, his next words filled with a promise that made her pulse race. Emma, Jake said, his voice low and earnest, pulling her from the swirl of her thoughts. I've been wanting to share something with you. She felt all eyes on them, and the world around her faded again. What is it? She asked, her heart pounding in her chest. I've been thinking about the idea you shared, the whole project for families in need. I believe it can grow into something powerful, something bigger than you might realize. His eyes sparkled with passion. I want to help you not just as a friend, but as a mentor. A mentor? The word hung in the air, filling her with both hope and trepidation. A mentor? You really believe I can do this? Absolutely, he responded, a smile breaking across his face. Listen, I know how hard it can be to juggle everything. But you have an extraordinary vision. If we work together, we can create a supportive network for families just like yours. Emma's stomach twisted as her thoughts began to race. But what if I fail? What if I can't handle it all? Then we learn and adapt, right? That's part of the journey, Jake replied, brimming with confidence. And you won't be alone. That's why I want you to know that I'll be here every step of the way. The warmth of his words wrapped around her, igniting a spark deep inside. Could this really be the lifeline she needed? A partnership that was built on mutual support and understanding? Okay, let us do it, she said, surprising herself. Each word slipped from her lips like a declaration of war against her insecurities. The road ahead was still shrouded in uncertainty, but the possibilities felt endless. Fantastic. Jake clapped his hands together. Let us meet every week to brainstorm ideas and strategies. We'll build a proper plan and reach out to the community. As the night continued, the music thumped vibrantly, creating a backdrop of energy and excitement in stark contrast to Emma's whirlwind of emotions. Jake stepped back to chat with another guest, leaving her standing there. Everyone's joyous expressions mingled with her own apprehensive thoughts. What did she actually want from this? To empower others was one thing, but in doing so, did she risk losing herself? Her heart was still filled with love for Lily and Max, but the chase toward this new horizon felt overwhelming. Dreams fluttered just beyond her reach. The thought of inspiring others made her pulse race, yet the fear of failure loomed like a dark cloud overhead. As Emma scanned the room filled with laughter and dancing, she noticed a group of people huddled together near the bar, whispering and glancing in her direction. What if they were thinking about her new venture? Were they skeptical? Did they think she was taking on too much? Emma. Lily's voice broke through her thoughts, a bright grin lighting up her face. Can I have that dance now? Her daughter tugged at her hand, pulling her from the melancholy thoughts that threatened to drown her. Of course, sweetheart, Emma replied, pulling her close. In that moment, she could taste the sweetness of hope mingling with the sharpness of doubt. As they danced, spinning softly beneath the glow of fairy lights, Emma felt a sense of peace wash over her. Lily giggled, her laughter ringing true and steady. This was the reason behind all of Emma's striving. The joy radiating from her daughter grounded her, but as the song ended, Emma caught sight of Jake again. He stood there, a beacon of possibility, yet a new thought crossed her mind. Why was he so invested in her success? She felt a flutter of something deeper than friendship, something complicated. Would this partnership be as uncomplicated as it seemed, or was there more at play? Just as she was about to approach him with her thoughts, a sudden commotion at the entrance drew everyone's gaze. A figure stepped through the doorway, someone Emma hadn't expected to see at all. Her heart skipped a beat. What chapter was opening now? The figure at the entrance paused, silhouetted against the bright lights of the venue. Emma's heart raced as she tried to process the familiar face unfolding before her eyes. It was Max, her estranged brother, the one person she had thought she would never see again. He wore a hesitant smile that didn't quite reach his eyes, as if he was equally taken aback by the reunion. Emma's breath caught in her throat. The years of family tension flooded back, years filled with silence and missed phone calls. In that instant, all she could think about was the bridge that had burned between them. She had often felt a sharp ache in her chest at the thought of what their lives could have been, siblings united in strength and support, rather than divided by misunderstandings and resentment. Mom. Lily's sweet voice broke through the clamor around them. She tugged at Emma's sleeve, curious about the commotion. Who is that? Emma knelt to Lily's level, trying to mask the whirlwind of emotions. That's your uncle. She could barely get the words out. He hasn't been around for a while. Lily, ever curious, tilted her head at Max with her big innocent eyes. He's here at the party. She exclaimed, a tad too loudly, drawing the attention of a few nearby guests. Max took a cautious step inside, his eyes locking onto Emma's. In that moment, the room spun away and all she could see was him. His brown hair, slightly unkempt, his casual yet sharp attire. It reminded her of the brother she once knew. The warmth that used to fill family gatherings was missing, replaced instead by memories of arguments and the hurt he had caused. As he approached, Emma felt a mix of hope and anger bubbling inside her. After years of hurt, could they really bridge that gap? Could he even still want to? Emma, Max said softly, struggling to find the right words. I've thought about reaching out. I didn't know if it was too late. Too late for what? She snapped, surprising herself with the sharpness in her tone. He winced at her words but continued, I saw your project online. I know we haven't spoken, but I want to help. She could see the sincerity in his eyes, but could she honestly trust him after everything? Last time she opened up, it had shattered her heart. But why now? She asked, the frustration spilling out alongside her curiosity. Why show up when you didn't take care before? Because I messed up. And I'm trying to make things right. His voice was filled with the weight of regret, pulling at the corners of her heart. As Emma stood there, caught between the trajectory of her new project and the unresolved pain of family bonds, a new surge of uncertainty washed over her. Was this the beginning of a new chapter in their relationship, or just another distraction smothered in old wounds? Mom! Can we dance? Lily chirped, her little hands impatiently reaching for Emma again. Emma looked down at her daughter's joyful face, then back at Max. Her head spun with the possibilities unraveling before her. She inhaled deeply, her heart battling between the warmth of hope and the agony of doubt. Max, sensing her hesitation, took a step back. I can wait, he said quietly, his tone respectful yet filled with sadness. A part of Emma wanted to embrace this opportunity for reconciliation. But another part of her feared the implications. Was she ready for all of this? To dive back into family chaos while trying to build something extraordinary for others. Just as she gathered her thoughts, Jake reappeared, oblivious to the emotional storm brewing. He smiled brightly at Emma and pointed to Max, confusion in his eyes. Who's this? He asked, clearly unaware of the family complexities unfurling before him. Emma felt her pulse quicken as she looked between her brother and Jake. What would this moment bring? How would it change everything she'd just begun to build? Remember what you said about not being alone? She thought, her heart racing. Could she really navigate this alongside Jake and figure out Max too? Jake, this is Max, she began, but as she spoke, a chilling realization washed over her. What if Max's return somehow jeopardized everything she was working for? Everything was on the brink, and she knew you never got a second chance at a first impression. But now, standing at this crossroads, could she muster the courage to face it all head-on? Jake, this is Max, Emma stuttered, her voice barely a whisper as she introduced her brother. It felt surreal, like watching a scene unfold in slow motion. Max's face morphed from uncertainty into something more vulnerable, and Emma could almost see the weight of their shared history pressing down on him. Jake furrowed his brow, taking in the tension in the air. Uncle? You said he was estranged, he said, his words hanging between them like a frayed thread ready to snap. Emma's heart raced. She could feel the gravity of the moment. This was a patchwork family she had never wanted but now found herself navigating. The room buzzed with laughter and music, but for her, time stood still. Right, well, it's complicated, Emma fumbled, glancing sideways at Max, who looked like he wanted to vanish into thin air. Let us dance, Mom. Lily chirped, seemingly unfazed by the awkwardness. She tugged harder at Emma's sleeve, her excitement infectious. Emma smiled down at her daughter, hoping to find a revelation in Lily's beaming face. Perhaps this innocent joy could light the path through the shadows of her past. Before she could respond, Max cleared his throat. I'm sorry, I can know, Emma interrupted. You can't just show up and think you can fix this. Do you understand? A flicker of hurt flashed in Max's eyes, reminding her how often they had danced around their issues and never truly faced them. Mom. Lily's small voice broke through the tension again, now curious about their quarrel. The innocence of a child was both a comfort and a painful reminder. Taking a deep breath, Emma knelt once more, needing to focus on Lily, who was staring at her, wide-eyed and expectant. Let us go dance, okay? We'll come back and talk to Uncle Max in a minute. Lily's face lit up. Yay! She shouted, her innocence washing over the somber atmosphere like sunlight breaking through clouds. As Emma led Lily to the dance floor, she glanced back at Max. He stood there, a figure frozen in a moment of longing and regret, and the sight twisted her stomach. The music pulsed around them, upbeat and vibrant, and for a moment, Emma allowed herself to get lost in the rhythm. She twirled Lily, who giggled and spun faster, her laughter infectious. But in that moment of joy, a gnawing doubt lingered in the back of Emma's mind. What if Max's presence here wasn't just a twist of fate? What if this was the moment meant to unravel her carefully constructed life? In her heart, she felt the risk of reopening wounds, of facing the memories that lingered and the hurt that had never fully healed. Jake's voice chimed in, dragging her from her thoughts. "Hey, do you think we should give him a chance?" he asked, gently pulling Emma back into the moment. With Lily laughing under sparkling lights, Emma tried to push apart her emotions, not wanting to overshadow her daughter's happiness. "I don't know, Jake," she answered, frustration bubbling. "What if this doesn't work? What if we get hurt again?" Lily danced in place, oblivious to the storm brewing around her. Emma's heart ached for clarity, for insight. As the song ended, they returned to the sidelines to catch their breath, and Emma searched Jake's eyes, hoping to find answers. Instead, she saw kindness reflected back at her. "Sometimes, the hardest things to face can lead us to healing," he said quietly. There was wisdom in his tone, a reflection of his own battles, and it resonated with her. "Maybe," she replied hesitantly. But would she risk everything for a chance to mend what was broken? Just then, from across the room, Max caught her gaze again. A question lingered in his eyes, filled with unspoken words. The air felt charged with possibility. Emma stood at a crossroads, doubt swirling around her like a storm, and yet there was a glimmer of hope shining through the clouds. Could she open the door to reconciliation? Or would fear keep her locked away from the potential for a true family bond, one that Lily desperately deserved? "Come on," she said, shaking off the heaviness of decision for a moment. "Let us get some punch." As she turned, she glimpsed Max leaning against the wall, looking so much like the brother she remembered, and she wondered would he still be there when she finally found the courage to take the leap. The music played on, and the beat of her heart echoed within her, urging her to make a choice. But what if making that choice meant risking everything she had fought so hard to build? As Emma poured punch into brightly colored cups, the fruity aroma enveloped her, momentarily distracting her from a whirlwind of feelings. The vibrant chatter and laughter from the party danced around her, creating a stark contrast to the weight in her chest. She glanced over at Lily, joyfully immersed in the swirls of music and laughter. Her daughter was the embodiment of innocence, so full of life, so unaware of the heavy history that lingered just beyond their dance floor. "Mom! Look what I can do!" Lily spun around, her arms stretched wide, sending ripples of joy through the crowd. Emma couldn't help but smile, brightening in the light of her daughter's pure happiness. "Wow, Lily! You're a dancing superstar!" Emma cheered, clapping her hands, but her heart hesitated. It was hard to keep that smile up when Max still lingered nearby, a tangible discomfort. She could feel him watching her, questioning her, and even wanting her to reach across that invisible barrier they had both built over the years. Maybe talking to him wouldn't hurt, she thought, attempting to silence her anxious heartbeat. Each memory with Max gnawed at her, a persistent ache reminding her of their fractured past. But could this night be different? "Do you want some punch?" Emma called to Jake, who was standing a few feet away, deep in conversation. He looked up, eyes wide with surprise, and then ambled over, a warm smile tugging at his lips. "Sure, I'll help," he replied, effortlessly adding a second cup to her tray. "You okay?" he asked, concern etched in his features. "I don't know. This is a lot." She gestured back toward Max, who stood alone, seeming both lost and hopeful. "What if this is just reopening old wounds? Maybe it's time for something new?" Jake suggested, his voice low yet encouraging. "You can't control the outcome, but you can choose to face it head-on. For Lily's sake and yours." Emma looked back at Max. He smiled faintly at her, and her pulse quickened. The boundaries that had separated them felt less defined, almost like they were teetering on the brink of something transformative. "All right, I'll give it a shot," Emma said, swallowing hard. She turned to Jake, squeezing his hand briefly for support. "Thanks for being my rock." "Always," he winked. Together, they walked toward the wall where Max was resting, his eyes flickering with a mix of hope and uncertainty. "Hey, Max," Emma started, her voice steady, but the tremor in her hand betrayed her. "Can we talk?" Max straightened, his posture shifting as he prepared himself for this moment. "Of course, I'd like that." Nerves tumbled inside Emma as they found a quieter corner, away from the lively celebration, but close enough to feel the pulse of the party. The murmurs of laughter softened into the background, creating a cocoon of vulnerability around them. "Listen," Max began, but the edge of uncertainty weighed heavily on each of his words. Emma blurted out, "I can't pretend that everything is fine. I just want to know, can we try to understand each other? Really understand?" His face softened. "I've tried to figure it out for so long, Emma. I never meant for things to come between us." The sincerity in his voice pulled at her heart, and as the air thickened with tension, Emma felt compelled to say more. "I want Lily to know her family, but I also need to protect what we have. This is a lot and I can't promise it'll be easy." The corner of Max's mouth curved upward. "I don't need easy. Just a chance." Emma felt her heartbeat echo in her ears. Was it that simple? Change didn't happen overnight, but could this be the start, a thread unraveling the tapestry of resentment and longing? "Okay," she whispered, "let us take that chance." But just as she began to feel a flicker of hope, a loud crash echoed from the dance floor. They both turned, eyes wide, as the music paused momentarily. Emma's heart sank when she noticed a group nearby gasping and pointing. Something unexpected was happening, but would it change everything she had just begun to mend? The noise erupted like thunder, pulling everyone's attention. Emma's heart raced as she squinted across the crowded room. Her mind barely registered the laughter and cheers subsiding into murmurs as Lily's gleeful dance halted abruptly, replaced by confusion. "Mom! What happened?" Lily tugged at her leg, wide-eyed. Emma crouched down to meet her gaze, trying to mask her own anxiety. "I'm not sure, sweetie. Let South stay close, okay?" She turned back toward Max, a question in her eyes. This was the last thing they needed as they began to untangle their complicated history. But he only nodded, concern etched into his features, reflecting her own. The crowd surged forward, curiosity drawing them like moths to a flame. Emma strained to see what had caused the commotion. In the conflict of chaos, she spotted a table tipped over, an array of snacks strewn across the floor. But it wasn't just the table that drew her focus, it was Jake, helping an elderly man up from the ground after he had stumbled. "Let us go over," Max said, his voice steady, a hint of concern breaking through. Emma didn't hesitate to follow, her maternal instincts kicking in. As they approached, Emma saw the elder man brushing off crumbs and scraps from his jacket, embarrassment coloring his cheeks. Jake offered him a hand, lifting him gently. "You all right, sir?" The man chuckled, "Just a little clumsy today." "Thank you, young man." Relief washed over Emma as she saw the man smile, the uneasiness dissipating into laughter, prompting Lily to giggle as well. The crowd began to share in the lightness, the laughter infectious throughout the room. "See?" Max said softly, glancing at Emma. "Sometimes, it's the little things that help us connect." Eyes still on the scene, Emma felt warmth spread through her. Maybe moments like this, new connections formed amid chaos, could be the foundation for a new beginning. "Okay, I'll be right back," she told Max, a decision blooming in her chest. She walked over to Jake, who was still engaging with the elderly man, trying to ease his embarrassment. Emma placed her hand on Jake's shoulder, drawing his attention. "Why don't we invite him to join us for some punch?" she suggested, her heart lifting at the idea. "We can make sure he gets something to eat and drink." Jake grinned as he nodded, "Great idea, Emma." Together, they helped the man to a nearby chair at a cozy spot removed from the ongoing party, bringing him a cup of punch and a plate of snacks. "Thank you. You two are very kind," he said, his smile revealing a set of twinkling eyes beneath his bushy brows. "It's been a long time since anyone showed me such care." As they settled in, Lily chatted animatedly with the man, her innocence shining through. The spark ignited Emma's heart, a sense of belonging spreading across the tiny table that in the corner of her vision. She caught Max watching, a curious mix of admiration and something deeper on his face. It was as if he saw her transformation in real time, but just as they began to share stories and laughter, a loud cheer erupted from the dance floor. Emma turned toward the noise, her chest tightening once again. "What now? What is happening?" she whispered, half hopeful, half scared. A couple swirled into the spotlight, surrounded by friends, and with grand gestures, declared they were first-time parents. The warmth of happiness flooded the room, but among those cheers, a pang of fear nestled in her heart. Could the chaos take away this fragile moment of connection? Was she truly ready to face whatever came next? For every moment of joy, could there be an equal amount of uncertainty? Max moved closer, his voice barely above the sweet chaos around them. "Emma, suddenly, the music started pulsing again, louder and more vibrant than before. The joy bubbled around them, but the uncertain weight of their conversation lingered like a storm cloud. What truth would emerge from this night, and would it change everything they had set in motion? Emma's hands trembled slightly. Could this camaraderie last, hold against the tides of their past? And with hearts foolishly entwined, would they navigate it together? The sudden cheer echoed like a breath of fresh air through the room, yet it left Emma with an unsteady pulse. She glanced back at the dancing couple, their happiness stirring wistful thoughts within her. Lily clapped her hands, lost in the joy of it all, seeming unaware of the undercurrent of tension that had suddenly returned. "Mom, can we dance?" Lily's face lit up with excitement. In that moment, Emma was swept by a rush of emotions. The innocence of her daughter's request contrasted fiercely with the seriousness of her situation. "Let us grab some punch first, okay? Then we can dance," she replied, wanting to prolong their little segment of normalcy. As they gathered around the punch bowl, the energy of the party enveloped them, but Emma couldn't shake the warmth growing between her and Max. He stood close, assessing her with an intent gaze, a ghost of a smile on his lips as if he wanted to say something more. "Are you okay?" he asked softly, breaking through the pulsing music. Emma searched his eyes, searching for answers she wasn't sure how to articulate. It's been a lot, you know." He nodded, a knowing look in his eyes that stirred something in her. "We're here together," he said, his voice steadying her breathing. "We can handle this." For the first time, the weight of uncertainty felt a little lighter. But just then, Lily tugged at Emma's hand, her eyes sparkling. "Mom, come. They're playing our song." Before Emma could process it, Lily was leading her back toward the dance floor, pulling her into the vibrant swirl of colorful lights and laughter. "Let us go," she insisted, her joy too bright to deny. Emma couldn't help but laugh, allowing herself to be swept away in the infectious joy of her daughter. As they swayed to the rhythm, life suddenly appeared fuller, the room burst alive with families, friends, love and hope. Her heart felt lighter, and as Max watched her dance with Lily, he broke into a true smile, one that eclipsed even the lively beats of the music. That flicker of happiness ignited something deep within Emma, a realization that perhaps connection wasn't as elusive as she thought. As the last strains of music played out, the dance floor was still alive, and in that moment of laughter and joy, Emma felt a shift inside. She locked eyes with Max, and for once, it felt like the chaotic past held nothing but lessons. They had a chance for something new, something better, but the moment was fleeting. With the last beat fading, a loud crash echoed through the room. Everyone turned as a young child, eyes wide with surprise, stumbled into the table of wedding gifts. It toppled, revealing a treasure of wrapped boxes spilling into view. Frowns replaced smiles, and the feeling of excitement turned into concern. Panic rose in the air, echoing through the crowd as guests rushed over. Emma's heart sank again, the joy of the dance threadbare against this sudden chaos. She had thought they were busy building connections, and yet here came another wave of uncertainty. "Emma?" Max's voice broke through her thoughts. "What do we do?" As panic buzzed around her, the warmth that had blossomed in her heart began to fray at the edges. Could she step up? Was she ready to be the calm in the storm? Suddenly, she didn't just want to survive the night, she wanted to become something more, a source of strength for Lily, for Max, and maybe even for herself. "Come on," Emma said, her voice gaining strength. "Let us help them." But just as they moved toward the chaos, a stranger stepped forward with an air of authority, his presence commanding attention. Emma stole a glance back at Max. She could feel the weight of their unspoken connection, yet something deeper loomed. What had she just unleashed? Was this night merely the beginning of a new connection, or something more complicated? As she watched the stranger step up and take charge, she wondered if everything was about to change, lighting the way for every uncertainty ahead. Emma pushed her way through the crowd, a sense of urgency coursing through her. She couldn't let the panic engulf her, she had to be steady, not just for Lily, but for everyone who needed guidance amidst the chaos. The stranger, a tall man with dark hair, wearing a tailored suit, was already speaking to the nearest guests, his voice firm yet calm, reassuring them that everything would be okay. "Yes, good," Max murmured beside Emma, and she could see it too. The stranger commanded the room effortlessly, rallying folks to help gather the scattered gifts and check on the child who had knocked them over. "What is going on?" Lily pulled at Emma's arm, her voice small against the backdrop of the commotion. "It's okay, sweetie. Just a little mess. We're going to help fix it," Emma replied, bending down to meet Lily's wide eyes. "Can you hold my hand while we help?" Lily nodded, her small fingers wrapping tightly around Emma's. They pushed forward together, weaving through adults who were beginning to organize themselves. As they reached the front of the table, Emma saw the little girl who had tripped a toddler with curly hair, still sniffling, held in her frantic mother's arms. "Hey there," Emma knelt down, looking into the girl's plump cheeks smeared with tears. "You okay?" That was quite the tumble. With a toe of playful encouragement and a gentle smile, the little girl blinked up at Emma, her sobs slowly quieting. "I'm sorry," she whispered, wiping her nose with a tiny fist. "Oh, sweetie, it's all right. Accidents happen." Emma reassured her. "You didn't mean to cause trouble." Max stepped in beside Emma, his stature somehow soothing as he crouched down too. "Want to help us pick these up?" he asked, gesturing toward the mess. A grin broke across the child's face, a sprinkle of delight starting to bubble through her tears. Just like that, the tension in Emma's chest began to loosen. The collective effort of adults gathering the fallen gifts turned into an oddly light-hearted scene. As they worked together, laughter echoed amidst apologies, and conversations bloomed where there had been worry just moments before. Emma stole a glance at Max, who appeared focused on encouraging the little girl. In that moment, another wave of connection washed over her. This wasn't just a gathering for a wedding, it was a community responding to each other. She felt her heart stir with the possibility of being enveloped in that warmth. As the last of the gifts were collected, the stranger stepped back, surveying his handiwork with satisfaction. "Great job, everyone. Just think, if we can handle a little chaos like this, taking on bigger challenges seems a lot easier, right?" He flashed a charming smile, drawing applause from the crowd. "Who are you?" someone called out, a mix of curiosity and admiration sparking in the crowd. "Just a guy who loves a good party." "I'm Alex, by the way," he answered, nodding, but Emma sensed there was more to him than just the host of the moment. "Well, Alex," Emma said, stepping forward. "Thank you for stepping in. I think you helped us all remember that we're in this together." He held her gaze, a flicker of intrigue in his expression. "It's my pleasure. It looks like you all could use some help. How about we all enjoy the rest of this lovely evening?" As the crowd began to settle back into the rhythm of celebration, laughter butting against the music once again, Emma felt something shift within her. She looked back at Lily, her daughter now dancing with a newfound friend, a joy bubbling from every movement, but amidst the joy, a thought niggled at her. What exactly had Alex seen in her? His interest felt more than casual, and that thought made her heart race, pulling her between the possibility of a connection and the fear of vulnerability. "Come on, Emma," she whispered to herself. "This is your moment." As she turned back, ready to embrace whatever might unfold next, she felt a surge of something powerful, a glint of hope cradled within the uncertainty. But would she take the leap? Would letting go lead her to something she never knew she needed? Emma took a deep breath, feeling the spirit of the celebration swirl around her like the vibrant melodies dancing through the air. She watched as the crowd breathed easy again. Laughter rang clear, joy palpable. With Lily spinning in circles, Emma couldn't help but smile. The little girl's happiness sparked something within her, a sense of renewal. Just moments ago, the world felt heavy, but now, the lightness was infectious. Everyone was working together, hope rising alongside the laughter. It struck her then. Perhaps it wasn't about fixing everything all at once. Maybe it was about the small moments, the tiny steps that led to something profound. As she glanced at Max, still kneeling by the little girl, Emma felt a thread of connection weave between them. Could they really rebuild what had been broken all those years? "Mom!" Lily's voice cut through her thoughts, her eyes wide with excitement. "Can we dance again?" Emma nodded, following her daughter's lead to the dance floor. The music pulsed like the beat of her heart, carrying away the remnants of doubt that clung like shadows. She lost herself in the moment, twirling and laughing, Lily's joy wrapping around her like a warm embrace, and then there was Jake. He watched them with a smile, pride in his eyes, his presence a steady anchor amidst the swirling chaos. "You're incredible," he said when they finished their dance. "I'm proud of you for stepping in back there." "Thank you," she replied, warmth flooding through her. It just felt right. As the dancing swelled around them, Emma caught sight of Alex nearby, speaking with a gathering of guests. His easy demeanor and lively laugh drew her in like a moth to flame. There was something magnetic about him, warmth and kindness radiating from him effortlessly. But her focus shifted back to Max. He stood with that little girl, his expression softening. Seeing him like this felt surreal. The boy she used to know, eager to lend a hand, had come full circle. "Hey," Emma called out softly, beckoning him as she stepped away from the dance floor with Lily. Max looked up, a hopeful glimmer in his eyes. "Yeah. Do you want to dance with us?" His hesitation lingered for a heartbeat, but then a smile broke through that doubt. "I think I'd like that." As they danced, time melded into a beautiful moment. Lily giggled between them, twirling and laughing, her joy lifting the heaviness that had been shared for years. Emma felt Max's presence stabilize her, the bonds of their family extending in real time like roots intertwining. Just as the song drew to a close, a soft voice interrupted their moment, reminding her of her burgeoning visions and the dreams she wanted to chase. "Hey, is everything all right?" Jake approached, clear concern tugging at the corners of his lips. "Yes," Emma said, her heart swelling. "Everything's more than all right." "I'm glad," he replied, his eyes flicking to Max and then back to her. "So about that project. I still believe in it." Her heart fluttered. "Me too." A few paces away, Alex watched, his eyes shining with curiosity, the crowd buzzing with conversations. Stealing her resolve, Emma beckoned him over. "Alex. Have you met my brother?" As she introduced Max, she felt a sense of pride swell within her, a step toward something new and tangible. "Max," Alex said, extending a hand. "Nice to meet you. Your sister tells me you're quite the family man." Their eyes met, a flicker of understanding quietly passing between them, a momentary recognition of the struggles they had both encountered. Just then, fireworks erupted outside. The sharp crackle of colors illuminated the night sky, reframing the evening's chaos into beauty. Gasps filled the room as everyone stepped toward the windows, excitement painted on their faces. Emma's heart raced. "Let us go see," she exclaimed, grabbing Lily's hand while glancing back at Jake and Max, who nodded knowingly. Together, they headed outside, where the night sky was alive with flickers of brilliance, each explosion a reminder of hope, of new beginnings. As the crowd oohed and ahed, Emma felt the warmth of community grow stronger. Hearts were mending, histories being rewritten, and nobody was alone in their chaos anymore. Max leaned in close, his voice masked by the sizzle of fireworks. "You know, I really mean it when I say I want to help you with the project." Emma turned to him, her heart lifting. "It like that. Let us build something together." And that S when it hit her, family bonds could be forged anew, not in the absence of struggle, but through it. This wasn't just a wedding or a night that most people would remember. It was the beginning of a heartfelt journey, one filled with laughter, healing, and the promise of a united path ahead. With fireworks painting the sky, Emma felt a peace settle deep within her. She was ready to embrace both uncertainty and opportunity, facing the challenges together, as a family. The world blurred away, leaving only the twinkling stars above, a testament to what could be achieved when they stood together. Now more than ever, the courage to dream felt possible. This was her moment of renewal. A chance not just to transform her life but to inspire others along the way, a spark igniting a community. But there was one last thing to do, something vital to ensure this newfound journey blossomed beyond the night. "Remember to hit that subscribe button," Emma called out, voice rising over the muffled sounds of awe. She felt the smiles radiate from those nearby, every face illuminated by the success stories unfolding. "You need to subscribe now, especially with everything changing. And don't wait not even one more second to share this with friends who need to see this transformation." As laughter echoed and fireworks lit the sky, she raised her voice once more for emphasis. "Leave a like and tell me your reactions below. We're just getting started, and I can't wait to share this journey with all of you." The future was waiting, bright and full of possibility, and this family was finally ready to embrace it all.